What makes my recaps apart? We're now in stunning 4K quality, boasting expertly polished subtitles, flawless story development, detailed characters, and intriguing facts. Smash that subscribe and like for more top-notch content. Hello, this is Yellow Recap. Caution, spoilers ahead. Alright, picture this. Voyaging to an ancient era about 65 million years ago, a myriad of creatures roamed. In this epoch, an imposing dinosaur emerged as the most formidable in its species. It attacked, compelling the creatures to retreat to water. Pursuing them, it closes in on its prey, only to be challenged by a colossal megalodon, a massive shark. The megalodon prevails, dragging the dinosaur under. Shifting to the present, the scene shifts to the Philippine Sea. The captain directs his crew to release barrels of waste into the ocean. Infiltrating the ship, Jonas Taylor captures evidence. He enters the captain's quarters, documenting the logs. When someone else arrives, Jonas overpowers them and escapes into the sea. Friends Mac and Rigas come by plane to assist his escape. Jonas hands the camera's memory card to Mac. China calls as Jonas and Mac partake in the Oceanic Institute's 10th anniversary celebration. Driscoll warmly introduces Juming Zhang, the institute's director and the sibling of the late Su Yin, who passed away in 2021. Enter Hai Ji, the captive megalodon. Aided by Hagi, an advanced submersible created by the Oceanic Institute, they venture to the trench inhabited by megalodons. Their goal, a profound dive into the ocean's depths to reach the trench. Post-event, Juming's bold entry into Hagi's enclosure draws attention. He shares an extraordinary bond with the megalodon. The initial encounter is calm, but the next turns tense as Hagi lunges. Swift reactions spare Juming. Jonas admits his concern and reproaches his risk-taking. The team proceeds to the Marine Research Hub, Mana 1, preparing for their trench dive. Unbeknownst to them, Hagi, unattended in its enclosure, escapes through the institute and trails the group to Mana 1. After their preparations, two deep-sea crafts named Dive 1 and Dive 2 submerge. Mac stays behind to coordinate the assisting team, leaving Jonas to address a specific matter. To his surprise, the matter is Mei Ying, who covertly enters the submerged craft. Jonas seeks to return her to Mana 1 without a diving suit, yet Mei Ying defies with her concealed suit, catching Jonas off guard. Conceding, Jonas secures her seat and straps her in. During Jonas and Mei Ying's interaction, an alarm sounds. A megalodon approaches from the coast. They are startled to discover it's Hagi, free from confinement. Evading the Meg, they descend, pursued by it. They venture beyond the thermocline layer, where Juming deploys a device to distract Hagi, providing relief. However, it's Meg mating season, and being a female, Hagi attracts more megalodons. Among them, the apex predator, the largest megalodon ever sighted. The team watches in awe and fear as it glides by. Rather than resurfacing, they decide to trail the megalodons into an uncharted ocean sector. Chasing the Megs into the trench's depths, their pursuit leads to a detected structure, an extensive underwater station. Another sub is present. They opt for a closer examination, approaching the station. Inside the sub, Montes and his crew partake in illicit underwater mining for rare earth minerals. Witnessing the submarine's approach, Montes triggers a massive blast to conceal their illicit endeavors. The explosion ruptures the thermocline layer, causing a trench-wide landslide. This traps the subs and incites Meg's panic. The subs sustain damage, Mac loses diver contact, and a rescue sub is sabotaged in Dive 1. Rigas restores communications. DJ relays sub signals. Mac notifies Jonas of sabotage and Dive 2's loss. Hearing this, Jonas dons an advanced Oceanic Institute suit and journeys to the underwater station. Dive 1's crew abandons the sub, traversing the trench in search of Dive 2. As Jonas leads, a sudden grip startles him. Juming and Dive 2 emerge. The complete research team proceeds to the underwater station, greeted by a breathtaking trench vista. In Mana 1, Mac reveals a mole's role in the sub-sabotage and trench mining. He urges DJ and Jess to remain vigilant before they depart. In the trench, Lance's sudden disappearance follows a collision with a colossal sea creature. His helmet is the sole trace. The team advances, Mei Ying offering solace to grieving Sal. Juming and Jonas spot numerous sea creatures swiftly advancing. Sprinting toward the station, they're overwhelmed. The creatures seize a pilot, cracking her helmet. Juming's flare deters them, but lures Meg's attention. Evading Megs, they rush to the station. Oxygen-deprived Sal, helped by Juming, faces Meg's approach. Accepting her fate, she pushes Juming away, devoured by Meg. The group arrived at the station, barely sealing the door before Meg's arrival. Jonas managed to close the door, but cracks in Curtis's helmet grew, eventually causing a fatal explosion, and the remaining members watched in despair. Losing another friend, they shed their suits, exploring until finding the miner's minerals. Mei Ying operated the station's computer, connecting with Mana 1. Jess received the signal, revealing the mole and opposite-side emergency escape pods. Heading north, they faced a closed gate. Mei Ying, Jonas, and Zhu Ming pushed when Mei Ying activated it. Inside, they examined escape pods. Rigas retreated as the gate suddenly closed. Jess confessed, admitting control and her role as the mole. She launched a pod, demanding Rigas shoot Jonas to save Mei Ying. Rigas aimed at Jonas, hesitated, and in the end, couldn't fire. Jess released another pod. Jess then connected Driscoll to speak with the team. It turned out Driscoll was behind the illegal mining, and in fury, Zhu Ming smashed the TV radio as ordered. Jess flooded the team's room. To override the situation, Jonas aimed to use the escape pod carrier. Swimming towards the power switch, he spotted something in the water. A large creature emerged, and Jonas shot it down. Jonas tried the switch again but blacked out due to oxygen shortage. Upon awakening, Montez was dragging him. Jonas and Montez battled, and after Jonas kicked Montez down, he hurried to the server room to open the gate. Montez obstructed him with a light stand. Jonas overpowered Montez, activating the gate switch. He rejoined the others on the north side, ensuring their safety. They proceeded to Montez's submarine, but encountered hydraulic leakage. Unable to bypass the Megs due to the issue, they needed a diversion. Zhu Ming returned to the server room, flooding the station with light to distract the Megs before returning to the sub. The illuminated station lured Megs, causing Zhu Ming to fall into the water. Rigas urged Jonas to seal the hatch, but he persisted, awaiting Zhu Ming. Zhu Ming reached the sub in time. Utilizing the distraction, the team guided the sub from the trench and reached the thermocline layer gap. Arriving at Mana 1, they found Jess and mercenaries in control. Meanwhile, Mac and DJ hid in a chamber upon discovering Jess's betrayal. Jess and hired guns stood outside. Mac swiftly opened the chamber, and DJ employed pepper spray before zapping Jess. Evading gunfire from mercenaries, they plunged into the water, re-emerging and re-entering covertly. Yet, soldiers caught them, securing their hands. In a sudden twist, Zhu Ming entered the corridor, raising his hands and speaking rapidly in Chinese to distract the mercenaries. Seizing the moment, Jonas stormed in from behind and subdued the mercenaries. Rigas and Mei Ying readied a boat for their escape at the port. Observing the Megs nearing, Rigas signaled the others to join, and they boarded the boat. Conversely, Jess and Montez, utilizing the Oceanic Institute's advanced suit, exited the trench. In the server room, Jess conversed with Driscoll when the Meg shattered the glass barrier and devoured her. Montez fled the room, tormented by grief at Jess's demise. Returning to the research crew, they calmly navigated the boat while a Meg circled, avoiding provocation. Pursuing mercenaries trailed them in another inflatable vessel, targeting Jonas. The Meg redirected its attention, attacking the mercenaries first. The opportunity allowed the research team to hasten their escape. Tearfully, Montez reported the incident to Driscoll. Approaching an aisle, the team observed tourists swimming and Driscoll's helicopter closing in. Urgently, they warned the tourists to evacuate the water. Yet, their pleas fell on deaf ears. Only when a resounding roar echoed did panic ensue, and the tourists, ironically, fled into the water. The Megalodons arrived, gleefully feasting on numerous humans. Meanwhile, Driscoll touched down on the island and instructed Montez to handle Jonas's team. Suddenly, they were ambushed by marine reptiles known as Nothosaurus, resulting in most of the mercenaries meeting their end. Driscoll cautiously retreated into the helicopter to conceal herself, but one reptile spotted her. Launching an attack, it swiftly seized her, guarding Mei Ying. Instructing the young girl to seek refuge in a cottage, Jonas commandeered a jet ski, luring the Megalodons away from the island. As Jonas contended with the Megalodons, the rest remained behind. Zhu Ming and Max scouted for explosives, but were apprehended by the mercenaries. Later, Rigas and DJ burst into the room, having eluded a pursuing reptile. Spotting the Nothosaurus outside, Zhu Ming diverted the mercenaries, playfully prodding DJ's abdomen. This caused DJ to step back, inadvertently triggering the gate-lifting button. Seizing the opportunity, the team fled as chaos erupted. The Nothosaurus attacked the panicking mercenaries, culminating in an explosive outcome. Emerging safely outside, Zhu Ming and Mac hurried toward the helicopter, while DJ called for aid. Upon finally securing a signal, Rigas and Mac reached the helicopter. After a struggle, Mac successfully piloted the aircraft, evading the pursuing Nothosaurus. Mac dispatched the reptile with a pistol grenade launcher, while Zhu Ming, who had been ejected, leaped back into the helicopter alongside Mei Ying. A colossal octopus emerged, targeting other tourists. Although Mei Ying was secure within a solitary cottage, upon spotting a woman stranded in the water, she defied Jonas's instructions and rushed to her aid. Observing this, Zhu Ming signaled Mac to lower the helicopter for Mei Ying's rescue, but the octopuses ensnared the aircraft. Seizing explosives, Zhu Ming leaped. Witnessing the shore's turmoil, Jonas hastened back to safeguard Mei Ying, pursued by the Megalodon. The creature lunged at him, obstructed by chains. Jonas used his feet to stave off the gaping maw. Amidst these massive challenges, Montes intensified the conflict, joining the fray on a wooden bridge, poised to eliminate Jonas, who concealed himself below. Jonah pierced Montes's leg, taking the weapon from him. Montes's blood flowed into the ocean, drawing Meg's notice. Noticing the nearing Meg, kicking Montes into its path. Concurrently, Juming was trapped by the octopus plunging underwater. Juming struck the octopus's arm with his blade, propelling towards its body. Utilizing a jungle bolo with an explosive, he pierced the octopus. Despite the blast, the octopus endured, ensnaring Juming again. Fortunately, Meg emerged, gripping the octopus's arm. The two sea behemoths battled, descending into the depths. Juming emerged above the water's surface. He swam to the downed helicopter, saving Mac, trapped inside. Jonas also swam to the helicopter, clutching a rotor, diverting the apex predator's attention from Juming and Mac. Vaulting from the water, the Meg aimed to devour Jonas, who used the rotor to impale it. By the shore, tourists fled upon spotting an approaching reptile. The reptile lunged at Mei Ying, but DJ's shot felled it, prompting cheers. Meanwhile, Hagi appeared, approaching Jonas, Mac, and Juming. Juming submerged, activating his device to guide Hagi towards dolphins, deterring its chase. Returning ashore, they sat on the sand, recovering from the fierce battle, awaiting the rescue team. And guess what's coming? Once I reach 1,000 subscribers, I'm bringing in Portuguese, French, and German voiceover dubs. Subscribe now to receive notifications for the Chernobyl and other upcoming movies. Thank you for watching.